Want to know a secret? More than just my armpits stink.
Facts. Clinically proven odor protection everywhere.
It goes on clear on my skin.
72-hour odor protection from your pits to your...
Stop it. Your legs are not producing foul odors. Your stomach does not reek to high heaven. You don't smell bad. And you don't need to rub deodorant over your entire body.
It's Old Spice Gentleman's Total Body. Gives me 24/7 freshness from pits to toes. Try my Old Spice. You can use it on your pits, chest, and even your...
This advertising campaign has been designed to prey on our insecurities in order to sell us products that we don't need. They're trying to make it seem like we can't live without this product, but we've been living without it just fine. You can't just up and claim that our entire bodies are secreting smells that are just as bad as our armpits. It's observably false. Seriously, do they just expect us to willfully forget that our entire bodies don't stink just because the advertising said so?
For your pits, privates, boobs, thighs, and feet.
Will it work on a Tina and Tanya?
I've got 2 dueling pecs the size of an ogre's dinner plate down there. It works.
My flower emoji?
Flowers, melons, even eggplants.
His.
Yes, please. Coconut for your coconuts, Arnold?
Yet gentle enough for your most sensitive skin, from the pits to the balls of your feet.
I've done a little bit of research, like the bare minimum. But I did find an article on a website called Healthline that talks about sweat glands. And apparently there are 2 kinds. There are the eccrine glands and the apocrine glands. The eccrine glands are the ones that give you the sweat that you sweat when you're hot and need to cool off. So when you're sporting, when you're exercising, when you're doing radical cool stuff, or when it's really hot out, according to this website, sweat in and of itself, on the whole, does not stink. It is an odorless fluid until bacteria on your skin starts breaking it down. The article does admit that certain foods, drinks, and medications can add odor to your eccrine gland sweat, but it is not the norm. The apocrine glands appear in areas that contain a lot of hair follicles, like, hello, the armpits. These glands produce the stress sweat, which is also odorless, but it does produce a smell when it comes into contact with the bacteria on your skin. Now we turn to a dermatologist named Dr. Lisa Kellett, who says that any fold where it's warm and moist is where bacteria can breed. So this is why our pits have generally been the area where we put our deodorant. It is a fold of skin on skin. It is very easy to get moist down there because we have both the eccrine and the apocrine glands in there. So it is a perfect breeding ground for bacteria, and when the bacteria meets the sweat that tends to get produced in there, it starts to produce those odors. Odors. But come on, your thigh? Across your stomach? I don't buy it. When I am out and about and I wonder to myself, do I stink? I am not bending down to sniff my leg or my stomach or my crotch or my feet. I'm doing a pit check. My preferred pit check method is to act like I'm scratching my nose with my sleeve. Does that look suspicious? Do I look like I'm sniffing my pit when I do that? Just a little like, it's like got something on my nose, but I don't want to use my hands. Does that work? Look, if you genuinely believe that your entire body needs to be covered in deodorant in order for you to smell good, I don't blame you, because there was a time in my life when I would have believed the exact same thing. When I was in high school, I was very sensitive about the way that I smelled. I had deodorants, I had Axe body sprays, I had those fancy colognes in glass bottles that I got from American Eagle, and I was coating myself in the stuff. I have distinct memories in my childhood of rubbing deodorant not just in my armpits, but also on my chest, a little bit on my stomach, and even on my butt cheeks a couple of times. For a long time, my daily routine involved me spraying my bare butt and crotch with cologne because I believed that those parts of my body smelled so bad that everybody at school would be able to smell me. And if the kids at school noticed how bad I smelled, then they wouldn't want to be friends with me. And if they didn't want to be friends with me, then Luke Miller never would have said to me, Brandon, don't forget me when you're famous. And if he had never said that to me, then I wouldn't be here on YouTube right now. And if I wasn't here on YouTube right now, who would be talking about these deodorant commercials? It's worth mentioning that when I say that I sprayed my crotch with cologne, that was a very painful process. It turns out that the skin down there is highly sensitive, and the cologne would cause a burning sensation that would last for about a minute on average, and during that time of agony, there was nothing that I could do other than curl up in a ball, wince, and wait for the pain to pass. Eventually, I did wise up and I started spraying the cologne on the inside of my underwear, and then I would let the underwear dry out before I put them on. But even then, if you did it too quickly, you would get the burn still. And the crazy thing is, I was doing this on top of applying deodorant to my armpits very liberally and spraying cologne in the normal areas, like, you know, on the wrist or the neck or on the shirt or something like that. I was way overdoing it because I was paranoid about how I smelled. And the thing is, I didn't smell. My butt did not reek of poop in the way that I thought that it did. Well, except for one day where I sort of sharded, and I was sitting right next to Ashley, one of the coolest girls in the whole school, and she fortunately just thought that somebody on that side of the room had farted. She didn't know that it was me specifically or the full extent of what had happened to me, and I basically got up out of class right after that happened, and I went downstairs to the bathroom to clean myself up, and fortunately we had soccer practice that day, so I had my compression shorts in the locker room, so I grabbed those, changed into those, but I was still feeling like I smelled bad because I was so insecure. But I didn't have any cologne at school, but another guy, Matt, did have cologne at school. He had been showing it off earlier, and I remembered that it smelled so good. And fortunately, his cologne was in his bag that was also in the locker room. So I snuck into the locker room, I grabbed the cologne, I was gonna go back into the bathroom with it, spray it on my butt, and then put it back and act like nothing had happened. But as I was walking back towards the bathroom, who should show up but Nick Scott, my friend. And he saw me outside the bathroom and assumed that I was good to go back to class, and he was like, "Brandon, come on, let's go back to class." And I was like, no. And he was like, "Why? What's the problem?" I had a bottle of cologne that didn't belong to me in my pocket, and I didn't know what to say. I couldn't say to my friend Nick Scott, "I just sharted and I was cleaning myself up." The word shart didn't even exist at that point. I didn't have the language to explain myself. So I reach into my pocket and I pull out the bottle of cologne and I show it to him, and I'm thinking the whole time, why am I doing this? It just looks like I'm stealing this bottle of cologne. And of course, Nick Scott thought that I was stealing that bottle of cologne, and he said, "Put that back, dude." And he made me go back into the locker room and put the bottle of cologne back in Matt's bag without having sprayed my butt. And then once again, he was trying to get me to go back upstairs to class because he thought that I was good to go. And genuinely, at this point, my memory of the event gets hazy and I don't remember exactly how it ended, but I am pretty sure that I did manage to escape from Nick Scott at one point. I ran back down to the bathroom, I went and I stole the cologne, sprayed my butt, put the cologne back, went back to class, and that was what happened. And also, if you were wondering, the shart wasn't wet. It was like a tiny little round firm thing came out of my butt and was sitting between my cheeks right in the middle of Miss Kelly's class. It was the worst thing that has ever happened to me. The entire situation was awful. My current plan is to keep it a secret until the day that I die and never tell anybody that that happened to me. And the one comfort in that whole story is that Ashley did not know that it was me. And hopefully at this point in her life, she's forgotten that I existed, and so she will never see this video and she will never find out. Boom. Okay, what was I saying? Where were we? Oh yeah, I didn't smell like poop. I was just insecure. A lot of people claim things like capitalism breeds innovation, or without the profit motive, there would be no innovation. And these claims, which have been very normalized in the United States, are not true. If the innovation is useful, if it makes work or your life easier, then the usefulness is the motive for the innovation. Alexander Fleming discovered penicillin and refused to patent it because he didn't want to create a barrier between the drug and those who needed it. If he had been solely motivated by profit, penicillin would have been less useful and less effective because it would have been locked behind a paywall. A lot of medicine and healthcare today is locked behind a paywall. Insulin is a good example of this. And the paywall results in the medicine and the healthcare being able to help less people. The profit motive hurts us. Innovation for the sake of helping people helps all of us. The profit motive only serves the greediest people in our society. It serves the people who value profit more than they value humanity. And frankly, those are not the people who I want to be making all of our innovations. So when I look at these ads for full body deodorant, I see capitalist innovation fully out on display. The companies have to have a new, better product so that they can keep you buying their product. So they're making up fake problems, they're preying on people's insecurities, and it's all to keep us spending. And once one of them does it, suddenly they're all doing it. And now they're all pushing this propaganda that our whole bodies are producing odors everywhere.
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 So you can use it on your...
Yep. You're everywhere.
Everywhere.
Everywhere!
And they really do mean everywhere.
And it's not true. Let's be honest with ourselves. We have reached a point in capitalist innovation where instead of corporations competing to make the best product and sell it for the cheapest price, they are competing to make the cheapest products and they are selling them for as much as possible. Do y'all ever just go to Target and look at the ingredients on all of the bread that they're selling and just wonder, what the heck are they freaking talking about on here? Editing Brandon here just to point out that it's not just bread, it's everything. It's all the food in the grocery store. What even is cereal? Here's a picture of the ingredients list for the Aldi brand of Reese's Puffs. What is that? What are these ingredients? What is the peanut butter made out of? I was eating that for breakfast for a year. And you know that the workers who are producing our grocery items, they're not in control of what ingredients they put into this stuff, but they do have to eat it. Cereal is marketed as some sort of healthy breakfast option, but what even is cereal? It is getting harder and harder to trust the products that are available to us. It's getting harder and harder to live. Medical expenses are through the roof. People are literally choosing not to receive life-extending, life-improving medical care because the cost is astronomical. Because we've allowed the profit motive to lock us out of life-saving care. If the motive in making the product is not to help people, is not to improve our lives, then how can you trust the product? Was full body deodorant made to help us, who smell bad all over our bodies?
Everywhere.
Or was it made to make a profit? These are the sorts of things that we have to think about when we're being fed advertisements like this. Now, at the end here, I am going to give a little bit of credit to Native, because in some of Native's advertising, they have not presented the full body deodorant as you need to cover your whole stinky body in this, but they've presented it specifically targeting women with large breasts. I, unfortunately, do not have large, glorious breasts. I don't know what it's like to have them. Sadly. A side effect of having large breasts might be the fact that they smell bad after a lot of sweating. I don't know. I could see how that could be the case, and I could see how in that case it could be beneficial to have a deodorant that can be used there as well as in the pits. But, however, I don't believe that we need to cover our entire bodies in deodorant because we produce awful smells everywhere.
Everywhere.
The truth is, I hardly ever smell anybody who smells bad. Anywhere I go, even at the gym, I'm not walking past anybody and thinking, oof, B.O. That, does not happen. And the few times that it does happen, the very few times that it does, it's coming from their pits. It's not coming from their thighs or their bellies. I'm not smelling their crotch or their feet. I'm smelling the pit smell. And that's it. Editing Brandon here just to say that even when I do smell somebody who smells like B.O., that's not the end of the world. There was a time before deodorant existed, and we all just smelled like that. That's the way that humans smell. How could that be the end of the world? One of the commercials even says this.
I smell very human right now.
Which is totally normal.
And they're right. How can a commercial make that claim and then at the same time make the claim that we smell bad everywhere?
Everywhere!
We, as a people, do not smell bad. We are not walking living stink bombs who need to be caked in a solid layer of deodorant across every pore of our skin. We don't need innovation driven by profit. We need innovation that is driven by the intent to help each other. And that's it. I will say this, these days I hardly use any products to make myself smell better. I don't use any cologne, ever. I do put some deodorant in my pits, and I shower, and I wash with soap. And that's it. And I think I'm okay. If I do smell bad, sorry. I am in a way healthier place now than I was in high school when I was singeing the skin of my crotch. Who knows what kind of lasting damage that's gonna cause? I don't know. But that was crazy of me. Anyways, That's all that I have for you today. I don't know if you have been seeing those ads, but I keep seeing these full body deodorant ads and they just drive me crazy because I feel like it's a fake product. I don't know if it's real. Okay, well, yeah, so this is me. This is my channel. This is what I do. I make these sorts of videos and other sorts of videos as well. And I would love it if you would subscribe to my channel and if you would just, leave a comment, have a chat. I respond. You could leave a like as well if you enjoyed this video. You could share it with your friends, your family, your loved ones, your enemies. Really, yeah, okay, wow, yeah, that's how this one ends.